Welcome to the Hello Sunday podcast with me, Nikki Hayden. This is the podcast that discusses everything self-development, spirituality and sobriety. And it wouldn't be me without a little sprinkling of humour. Whether you are just starting out on your journey of self-development or have been exploring these topics for years, are completely alcohol-free or just curious about living a more sober lifestyle, this is the podcast for you. Each week, I'll be exploring topics in both solo episodes and with some amazing guest experts. So if you like what you hear, then please subscribe, rate and review. So with that said, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, welcome back to another episode of Hello Sunday. It is so freaking good to be back, guys. It's so good. I'm sorry that I wasn't here last week. I know some of you did message me. I did put something on the podcast Instagram, but actually I know some of you don't follow me. So first of all, if you're not following the podcast Instagram, go and give it a little follow. The link is in the show notes, or it's just Hello Sunday Pod. And I do put all the updates there. If there's not going to be an episode, if we've got a guest, you can see the video clip there. Not quite ready for full YouTube yet, but you can see snippets if you want to see the guests. And also I will put any new releases, new episodes, all that sort of stuff up. So please do go and give it a follow. But yeah, for those of you that messaged and said that they were sad that we didn't have an episode last week, I am sorry. I was a bit poorly and I think I really I only had 2 days when I could have possibly recorded and edited, and it would have meant recording poorly from my sickbed basically, and I just thought nobody needs to hear that, nobody needs that energy. So I made the decision not to release an episode, and I did let you all know on the Instagram. But for those of you that didn't see, I am sorry. But we're back this week. And what have I got to tell you? What have I got to update on? I was trying to think before I came on to record, like, what have I been doing? But in all honesty, I think post-summer, this is kind of what we're going into talking about on this episode. Post-summer, I really have just been, like, chilling out a bit. I think the summer, especially the end of summer, so like August time, we had a lot on. We were really busy. We were going up and down the country to see friends and family. We had birthdays and barbecues and all sorts. And I felt like I came out of the summer and I don't know, I just didn't really have that sense of like calm and clarity. I'm a real homebody. Like, I love seeing my friends, I love seeing my family, but I'm a real homebody. So if I've not got at least one day at the weekend at home, ready, like preparing for the week, it really throws me out. So in October, I made the decision to not travel down to the Midlands to see family, not put anything in the diary, and just to have a really, other than we had one birthday party, 140th, one of our friends, which is coming up next week. But other than that, I just thought, you know what, I'm going to have some really good, like, life admin, productivity, chilled weekends. I feel like I need it. Work's super busy at the moment. So that's what we've been doing. Except for my husband had a text conversation with a friend of ours a few weeks ago, and she told him that she was having a birthday meal weekend just gone, last Saturday, and he'd said that we could go, which obviously, of course, that was great, but then forgotten to communicate that to me. So about 3 or 4 days before, he was like, oh, by the way, we've got this birthday meal on Saturday. So so that's what we did. We went for tapas with a bunch of our friends, and do you know what, it was such a nice afternoon. Like, we were saying as well, maybe like not even 10 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, we would have gone out at 2 p.m. for lunch and still been out at 2 a.m. somewhere on the Sunday morning. But this time I drove, I'm still not drinking, so we had the nicest afternoon. We had gorgeous tapas food, got to catch up with everyone, and then we were back home by like 6:30 and we watched the 6th Harry Potter film. So it was a really, like, I hate the phrase wholesome, but it was a really wholesome weekend. It was lovely. And then Sunday, I just went to the gym, planned my week, just, yeah, cozy October autumnal vibes. So I'm really glad that we did do that, because to be honest, I think, yeah, having too many weekends post summer being like social and crazy and like out all night, I just can't deal with it. So what are we talking about today? Well, it's kind of two topics in a way, because I wanted to talk about like this period of year and the winter arc trend that's going around, especially on TikTok, for those of you that have seen it. But actually, in thinking about it and kind of prepping for this, it really made me realise that years ago this wouldn't have been a thing for me, because I lived for the weekends. I had any excuse under the sun to have like a social occasion and to see people, party, drink, and actually getting stuff done, and I guess like focusing on goals and that. Whilst I did try to do it, it was always like if I wasn't going out, as opposed to like planning my going out around my life, I would plan my life around my going out. And it impacted this time of year. It impacted my whole year, but it impacted like the difference between what I'm able to get done now in this period between summer and Christmas versus what I did even like 2 or 3 years ago is crazy. And so that actually led me on to wanting to just talk a little bit about that as well, and kind of my sobriety journey. So the first thing is the winter arc, and that is, if you haven't seen it on TikTok, it's what we're kind of being told, or what is being depicted as, if you think of like an arc shape, so like the bottom of the arc is like going the upwards trajectory into the Christmas months, so between like summer and like the end of December, beginning of January, and then like the downward part of the arc is the like months from like January to spring, so like January, February, March. And what historically people have done is, and I've always been guilty of this, is come out of the summer months and then I guess almost started like winding down and like hibernating, ready for like Christmas. So my wind down for Christmas used to start like beginning, middle of November. And then post Christmas, I was always really surprised like why I didn't have this mad motivation, why my New Year's resolutions would fall off, why the commitments I'd made to myself and to my goals was falling by the wayside. And I've spoken about this before, but the way that nature and the cycles of the planet work and the cycles of humans is that in the Northern Hemisphere right now, in the UK and any other countries that are going into the winter months, the nights are getting longer, the days are getting shorter and darker, and our bodies do naturally start winding down, slowing down. Now, winter solstice isn't happening until the middle of December. So the months between like now and the middle of December, we still should have energy. We still should have like the want and the willingness to create and to hit goals. And this isn't me saying like you should want to do that. I'm just saying like by the natural cycles of the earth, it's not our winding down time yet. There might be many, many reasons why right now you don't feel like doing that. You could have stuff going on. It could be, you know, life circumstances. That's completely normal. But in terms of like nature's cycles, we are not yet meant to be kind of hibernating, if you like. It's when we get to the deeper winter months, so like end of December through to like end of February, the beginning of March, that's when we can expect to be like super lethargic, not wanting to do much. And yet, you know, the patriarchy and the Romans made it so that our calendar started in January, which is the depths of winter. And so we all hit New Year, make all these goals, go, 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 and then fall off a fucking cliff come like the second, third week of January. So the winter arc, I guess like trend, if you like, talks about how these couple of months now, like 2.5, 3 months between the end of summer and the beginning of like the deep, deep winter and Christmas, are the months where you really should be focusing on your goals, still like going for it, refocusing for what you can get into the rest of the year, rather than conserving energy and like almost starting to hibernate. If you look at animals, if you look at, nature, none of them start to hibernate. No, what was that? None of them start to hibernate just yet. They're conserving, they're, putting their food away, they're building their nests and their dens. And that's in essence what we need to be doing. We need to be, focusing on the last little bit of push that we've got for the rest of the year. Before then we can, in essence, relax a little bit. Now, I'm not saying don't work. I'm not saying don't parent. There's not an opportunity for most of us to completely take our foot off the gas. But if you know that you've got a goal to lose weight or get fit or build your business or apply for a new job, don't put it off until January, because the chances of you waking up on the 2nd or 3rd of January and being like, fuck yeah, I've got all this energy and focus and vision, and maintaining that for the first part of the year, the first quarter of the year, is like slim to none, because it's in our nature to not, literally in our nature. So this sort of talk around the winter arc is all about how we can be, refocusing and looking at what we can do this side of Christmas, and therefore, creating that, I guess, that momentum, so that then when it comes into spring next year, we can, continue with that. And this really made me think, because actually that's exactly what I'm doing. There's so much that I need to achieve and get done. Work is so busy at the moment. My fitness goals over the summer, they definitely didn't fall off a cliff. I've maintained consistency all year, but I'm definitely pushing harder now. I'm, being more strict with myself in terms of, there was a lot of barbecues and parties and stuff like that. I've completely cut alcohol out. I've not had a drink since August bank holiday, so I'm on week 8 now. And going into this period of the year and not drinking and being sober, it made me think like that wouldn't have really been an option a few years ago in terms of like the push, because all the social occasions were still there. We've got Halloween, we've got Bonfire Night, we've got all of the Christmas celebrations, any excuse to go out and drink and party, and I was there. So thinking about that like sober journey and what I've got from it, and actually marrying that up with like what it gives me and the ability and the energy and the clarity and the focus and the productivity to like go into this period of year and absolutely ramp up to smash my goals. Like it's crazy. It really is crazy, the difference that it makes. And I saw something the other day that said sobriety is more than quitting alcohol. And I was like, ain't that the truth? Like, yes, in its dictionary definition, like going sober is the removal of alcohol. But actually, the stuff that it has given me, the focus and the productivity and the energy and the respect for myself and all of the extra things that I have gained have been as a what's the phrase, like as being as a byproduct of quitting alcohol. So yes, sobriety is in essence the removal of the alcohol, but it's all the stuff that you get as a result of that means that it's so much more than that. So like for me, just being 8 weeks in, I'm already having much better business success, because I'm not on a Monday morning tired or even slightly lethargic or sluggish from the weekend, because I'm getting really good sleep. I'm focusing on myself. I'm preparing for the week. I'm prepping my food. I'm getting my week plan done. Like I'm going into Monday morning, hitting the ground running, rather than snoozing my alarm until the very last second and then having to rush getting ready for my first meeting, which is what I was doing a few years ago. Like this is not, a long-term thing for me. This is literally, last year was when I started doing this. The change of routine for me has been like wild. The little things that you don't realize you are doing when you drink. And this isn't me saying I had a problem with alcohol. If you've listened to previous episodes or gone back to like the start and listened to my sort of story, you'll know that I didn't have a problem with alcohol in the fact that I was dependent, but I think it was causing problems for me because I would change who I was when I was drunk, and I would not stick to my commitments, and I would just not have the level of self-respect or self-care for myself. So the change in routine for me, like the energy and clarity and focus I have on a Sunday, the fact that I even have a Sunday, like that's where this podcast came from, like Hello Sunday, because I quit drinking and suddenly I'm like, oh my God, there's a whole day of the week that isn't just lying in bed hungover, ordering pizza and not getting dressed. So for me, the change in routine, the fact that on a Friday night I used to go and get a bottle of wine or a bottle of gin, and me and my husband would have a few drinks together, and then Saturday morning I'd be sluggish. Now on a Friday, if I'm at home, I'll clean the house and then I'll have some dinner, watch an episode of something, or we'll watch something together. Saturday morning, then I'm in the gym. The little changes in my routine have meant that I'm getting stuff done and I'm doing stuff and I'm showing up for myself in ways that I just wasn't when I was drinking. And again, this isn't because I was, passed out unconscious on the floor, but even just a couple of glasses of wine or like 2 or 3 gin and tonics would change how I felt, my energy levels and everything the next day. For those of you that are regular listeners to the show, or maybe you know me personally, you won't have been able to get away without hearing me talk about Simprove. Simprove is a scientifically backed, water-based probiotic drink. You drink it daily and it has been scientifically proven to help with things like bloating, IBS symptoms, pain. It was actually a dietitian friend of mine that introduced it to me last year, and I honestly wouldn't be without it now. It's helped with my energy, with my bloating, it's helped with my immune system, and also things like my skin. The list is honestly endless. Now, I have got a code for you. So if you'd like to try Simprove, you can get 50%, that's a massive 50% off your first 3-month subscription by going on to simprove.com and putting in the code Nikki50. That's NIKKI50, or clicking the link in the show notes. The levels of productivity that I have now, like my energy levels, I'm recording this at 5 o'clock in the evening, and my energy levels now are the same as they were at 9 a.m. this morning, and it's a Monday. And that's because I'm not trying to, I'm not fighting the tiredness, I'm not fighting the lethargy, and I'm not feeling like I just can't wait to be able to finish the day and get into bed. I'm productive and excited by the day and the opportunity and the stuff that I get to do. My self-care has gone through the roof, and that isn't me saying like, oh, I go for facials regularly, or I'm spending money on massages every month. Like, yeah, would love to and sometimes do, but the little things, like every single night now without fail, I am brushing my teeth, I am flossing, I am mouthwashing, I am doing a 5 or 6 step skincare routine. There would probably be at least 1 or 2 days in the week when I was drinking when I wouldn't do that, because Friday nights I'd probably be a little bit sluggish and just like rinse my makeup off because I'd had a few drinks. Probably Sunday as well, maybe Sunday morning, Sunday night, I'd just want to get into bed because I'd be hungover. Or Saturday night, if I was out, sometimes I'd come home and not even take my makeup off. And like flossing my teeth was like down there, do you know what I mean? It just didn't happen. So the little things like that I am doing for myself, and the fact that I'm taking my supplements every single night without fail, the fact that I never forget my contraceptive pill anymore because I've got no reason to, because it's part of my routine. I'm putting my nail oil on, so my gel nails that I have done are lasting longer. It's the little stuff like that you don't need to be absolutely blotto drunk or, skipping meals and, drinking at lunchtime to be not looking after yourself. But if there's 2 nights in the week where you're drinking and maybe cutting corners because you can't be bothered, or you're out and you're getting back in the early hours, then that's a third of your week almost, that you're not actually taking care of yourself and doing the self-care practices that you normally would do or that you'd want to do. And with that comes a level of self-respect as well. I'm showing up for myself. I'm doing these things for myself. I'm going to the gym. I'm looking after my fitness. All of the stuff that I would never have got 3 gym sessions in a week when I was drinking, because if I didn't get them in the weekdays, forget going at the weekend, because Friday and Saturday night I was drinking. So Saturday and Sunday mornings, I wasn't going to the gym. And I was the sort of person that I'd have 2 drinks and then I wouldn't want to go because I'd just feel a bit, crap, a bit tired the next day. So I'm showing up for myself, and the level of self-respect that I have, and I did an episode on this as well, which I'll link below, but the level of self-respect that I have now is like through the roof compared to what it was, because I'm actually doing the things that I say that I will. I'm showing up for friends. I'm keeping appointments. I never, ever cancel appointments now unless there's a really, really good reason. It's never just because I'm having to find an excuse because I'm tired or hungover. And also, like, emotionally as well, I'm having the conversations and facing up to things that I maybe would have buried before, like conversations with friends. You'll all know that I had to cut a friendship off earlier in the year. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And, if I was still drinking, would I have done that? I'd like to think I would. But the reality is I'd have probably gone out drinking with that person and not, like, we'd have swept it under the carpet and I'd have, like, false bonded again. Do you know what I mean? Like, the connection and the conversations that you have. And this was something I was talking to Caroline, DJ Flourish, about on one of the previous episodes. The connection and the depth of conversation that you have when you're drunk. You think that it is there, but it's actually not. It's actually false. It's when you're sober that you have those, those conversations, that it really matters. And the stuff that I'm facing up to and talking about and dealing with emotionally, like, I've got respect for myself for that. And I think other people have also got more respect for me for doing that and for having those conversations as well. And I think just generally, like, my relationships have improved. Like, I'm not having petty arguments with my husband because I'm drunk and snappy, or because I'm tired and don't want to commit to the things that we plan the next day. I'm showing up for my family. I'm showing up for myself. The people that love me know now that they can rely on me all the time. And it's not to say I was super unreliable before, but there was definitely aspects where I didn't like myself because I was letting people down more frequently. I was probably making excuses and not doing stuff, especially at the weekends. I remember once I made plans with one of my friends to go to a dance class on a Sunday, and then I was up till like 3 a.m. drinking on the Saturday night, and text her saying, "I'm sorry, I'm not going to go." And she was really upset. She was really hurt, and that made me feel like a shitty person. And I just don't do that anymore. So all of these things that I have found are as a result of just cutting out alcohol, like literally that one thing. And it's hard at first. Of course it's hard. It's a change. It's a change to your routine. But what you gain from it and, what you lose are completely out of balance. The stuff that you gain is so much more than what you lose. Like, do I miss sometimes having those drunken, silly, spontaneous nights and conversations? Yeah, of course I do. But I would not give up what I've gained for anything. Like, those once in a blue moon nights out, spontaneous, silly, drunken adventures, it's not worth me giving up what I've gained from cutting out the alcohol. And then I think the final thing that I just want to say in terms of, it being more than quitting alcohol is the friendships that I've made, the friends, I've lost some friends or had people that I don't relate to as much now. We don't see each other as much, but the friendships that have deepened, the friends that I've gained, the communities that I've become part of due to my sober journey, they have been invaluable, and they are something that I would not have found or accessed if it wasn't for going on this journey. So, which I know going on this journey sounds like a really crap phrase, but I don't know how else to say it. I just wouldn't have made friends with these people. I wouldn't have access to these communities or even know that they existed or even sort them out. We're talking online friends, we're talking sober stuff in real life. Caroline's self-love raves, I was talking to her, in a previous episode. I probably wouldn't have done that sort of stuff if I wasn't drinking. So it's opened up a whole world and a whole level of connection that I just wouldn't have experienced otherwise. And so when I was thinking about like this winter art period and like the goals and stuff, I wasn't thinking, oh, I really want to do that, but I've got that party next week, or oh, I've got that wedding, or oh, I'm going home to see my parents and I'll drink then, or I really want to hit my fitness goals, but yeah, I probably won't get to go to the gym more than once this week. None of that came into it, because I know now if I want to do something, the only thing that was stopping me before was that I was planning my life around going out rather than the other way around. I was planning my life around the occasions when I would drink and the downtime that I would have afterwards. And it's really funny because sometimes I still think like that. And when we were talking about going out this weekend, my husband and I were doing, or last weekend to my friend's birthday lunch, my husband and I were doing the finances, and I told him to factor in 20 quid for a taxi, like £10 there, £10 back. And then I thought about it and I thought, no, I'm not drinking, so I don't need to do that. So that was not only money that we got back, but the fact that then I knew that whatever I'd committed to on Sunday, which was the gym, I'd be able to do. There wouldn't be, I'd commit to stuff in the past and I'd know in the back of my mind that it wasn't really going to happen. There's a high probability that it wouldn't happen because I'd be drinking. And I just don't have that anymore. So this isn't me saying, look at me, look how great I am, look at what I've done. This is me saying, somebody like me who used to drink at least 2 or 3 times a week, binge drink, would drink when I went down to see my parents, would drink at christenings, funerals, birthdays, you pet goats, bar mitzvah. If I can do this and I can get all these benefits, then I guarantee that 80, 90, 95% of you listening are either drinking less or, in the similar boat to what I was, and therefore can also do it as well. I do know that there are people that listen that are in a different situation to that. And as always, I always say, don't remove alcohol if you are dependent or suspect that you might be, without consulting a medical practitioner. But for those of you that are in the same boat that I was, or maybe are, just thinking about it, I honestly can't talk about it enough. Like, I've had people on social media saying to me, yeah, we get it, you don't drink, and are you ever going to shut up about not drinking? And the honest answer is, no, I'm fucking not. No, I'm not, because the benefits of not doing it far, far, far outweigh how hard it is to get started. And this period of the year just made me realise that. It made me realise that I wouldn't have had the benefit of these next couple of months sober and able to just focus on my goals. I wouldn't have the benefit of knowing that whatever I set myself, I can achieve, and there's only me in the way of achieving that. And that's amazing. That is the best feeling ever. So sobriety really is more than quitting alcohol. And I think, if you even just want to give it a go, use yourself as data. I always say this, like, people want to know what the benefits were and how it made you feel and all this sort of stuff before they'll do it. But the benefits that I get are going to be different from the benefits that you get. Like, if you're a parent, you're probably going to have completely different benefits to me, because I don't have kids to consider. I don't have like my energy levels when I'm hungover with kids to consider. So if anything, it's probably going to be like even more so, advantageous for you guys. But use yourself as data, do it for a month, see how you feel. If for any reason you don't feel the benefits, or you don't think that, you don't have to continue with it. I mean, I'd put money on the fact that that isn't going to be the case. But yeah, honestly, use yourself as the data and try it, because this time of year is prime for setting yourself up to be able to take your foot off the gas a little bit in those colder months after Christmas, when we're really meant to be resting. We're really not meant to be exerting ourselves energy-wise. We're really just meant to be visioning and planning and not doing. And if you don't do that now, then it's pretty much a 6-month period before you're going to feel like hitting your goals again, like from an energy perspective in the spring months. And that's half a year. That's half a fucking year of not doing anything. When you put it like that, it's pretty wild. So, But anyway, I am so glad to be back. I will definitely be back again next week. There was a few topics I was toying with for this week. As always, if there's specific things you want to hear me talk about, if there's things that you would like me to cover, if there's questions that you've got, please do drop into either the email inbox or the Instagram DMs. Always happy to hear from all of you. And as always, please do follow, share, rate, review, all that good stuff. It really does help. But I love you all very much. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you all again next Sunday. Thanks for listening. You can find us on Instagram at HelloSundayPod, or you can email us on hellosundaypod@outlook.com. Have a great week.